Welcome back to your Caribou Data Science channel. It's all about giving you the data you need to understand the world around you. How's that for an intro? Anyway, I'm getting to jump the scene on one of my favorite data scientists, data gurus on uh, on YouTube. This is David Robinson. I'll put a plug in right now. Be sure to check it. Be sure to subscribe to his channel. And I'll tell you every Tuesday evening about either 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern Time or Eastern Daylight Time. He does a live screencast from the Tidy Tuesday data set. So let's go out and take a look and see exactly what David's going to be up to today before we. Okay. So my guess is, and this is what the rest of this video is on, he's going to be looking at this data set here, which is the UN data sets. This is UN votes by country, by resolution, and by issue, okay? So we start out up here with just a little bit of data. Let's take a look at a couple. We start out with a few with the usual, the usual suspects: ggplot2, scale, dplyr, tidy r. The main thing here is this UN votes. That is the library which contains all the data. This helps us do some summary statistics. This allows us to do some forecasting. This allows us to do some funky stuff with dates. So we come in here. When you load the UN votes, you have these three data sets. Okay. Roll call call issues, calls, and votes. So you got UN issues, UN calls, UN votes. Okay. Okay. Quite a bit of data, as you can see in these three things here. Okay. Quite a bit of variables, quite a bit of columns. First thing we would do a count by the issue name, a count by issue. So you can look here, UN issues. Issues, short name. This is the resolution ID. So we're going to do we're going to do a count by issues. Then we're going to do a percentage by issue. So let's run this here real quick. Here we go. What you can see is arms control since 1946 has been has had the largest number of issues raised in the UN. Second, interesting enough, is of course the Israel-Palestinian conflict. Okay, I'm almost tempted to change that to Israel-Palestinian conflict. I'll leave it alone for right now. So over 600 issues, over 1,000 issues have had to do with the Palestinian issues. Okay, so this is 150. So about 1,050 resolutions had to do with the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. Now let's look at the percentage of U.S. resolutions. So once again, if this is 10, this is 15, this is 2.5. Okay? So what do we got here now? So once again, the Palestinian issue is about 17, 18% of all the votes. Now let's pull out this Israel-Palestinian conflict. We used a short name of MEF, that's the abbreviation used. We create two new data sets, calls and votes. Okay, here's calls. Here's the issue, and here's the date. There's the actual UN resolution. Here's votes. Again, Palestinian contact, yes and no. Our question we want to know about is, what is the count of UN resolutions by year for the Israel-Palestinian resolutions by year. So we've got to create a year field using loop per date, and this is what it comes down to. Okay, I believe the actual ends in 2019. So interesting enough, back in the 60s, there was this huge surge in these issues here. Now, the question is, when was the Palestinian territory actually set up? Now we could of course create a table of all the Palestinian issues. Okay, and this is the count of the issues. Okay, now let's take Israel-Palestinian count by yes/no votes for U.S. And this is pretty interesting. You see, more time, the overwhelming the U.S. has voted against, voted no on issues related to the Israel-Palestinian conflict. This probably says a lot about the issue, what the UN was trying to do. Although we have abstained, and we have done this. Okay, we have voted yes on a couple times. So, what else can we look at here right now? We could, since this is all we could do a join between UN calls and UN votes. Okay? Okay. What we'll do, we're going to create a, okay, so let's take a look here now. So we're going to say, what we have to do is, we have to, what do I want to do? I want to count the yes and no votes by year. I would need calls and votes. Uh, okay. Calls, calls, RCID, and year. Yeah, let's see something. Enter join. Let's see if this works. Okay, so now we got our numbers all set up for this. Let's do this. Let's do a group by year. Let's do vote by. We're going to do votes by year, right? Group by. Okay, so now we got a count. So let's start. Y is year, comma, equals. Will this work? So, what is this? So, let's just get rid of this right here and see exactly what's happening. So, what do we want? X to be here, that's definitely. Y to be count. How come there's no plot? Let's just do this. Okay, date. Data must be a data frame. So what is this? Okay, so let's convert this. Okay, except we don't have year, do we? That's the problem. What happened to year? Israel, yes, no. Mm, okay. Now I find this to be interesting. Again, back in the 80s, there's a huge spike in the number of yes votes counted. Now, of course, we got to be careful because over the course of time, other countries have been have the number of countries have increased. This is a minor note. U.S. actually has veto power over any, I believe, over any UN resolution. So this is the count of the votes by year for the Palestinian-related issues. What's interesting is, of course, is how low the no the people voting no or abstaining uh, is uh, is has remained the same, and the people voting yes has declined a little bit. So that, to me, this probably gives us a very clear picture. And this, and I'm going to say that this is why the U.S. is so important. Okay, in this issue, we could also look and find out which countries voted no. Okay. Okay. Lucian's. Kind of view resolution by vote cast in year. Hmm. Well, you know what? I think I will call quits on this. This really gives me. I think I want to point out here. The kind of point to people I try to help. Okay. So this is kind of interesting. What other questions could we ask? Um, we could take a look and see, which countries voted no the most times. Oh wow, that could be interesting. Count the number of no votes by country. UN votes. Okay. So the question: who is the friends? Who are the friends of Israel? That's the question. U.S. votes. Okay, Israel calls. We got years. Oh, what else do we got here? Israel by year. Yes, no votes. So who are the friends of Israel? Uh, we need to know year, So Israel calls. Hmm. What do we have to know here? We have to combine Israel calls. Israel calls. This is a date. This should also give us a year. What we're looking for is so there's a resolution. We need to combine this with country information. Let's see. So we have to use Israel calls. What are we looking for? We're looking for country name.